They're not going to ask you for bank statements. They're not going to ask you for tax returns, profit and loss, balance sheet, none of that. This is 100% no docs. What's going on? So for today's video, I wanted to give you another no doc funding play. Now, this particular play is going to be geographically restricted. So in the last video, I told y'all, let me know in the comments section which states you want me to cover as far as different no doc business funding programs. Now, I really did have to dig and search for this, but I wanted to just share this with you. So this particular financial institution is going to be available in 3 states. So the name of the bank is called Liberty Bank. Now, Liberty Bank is based out of Connecticut, and actually Liberty Bank has a subsidiary called Owners Bank. This was a bank that was founded just a couple years ago, so it's not even that old. But again, you have Liberty Bank. So the eligible states is going to be Connecticut, Rhode Island, as well as Massachusetts. So again, you can do the foreign entity filing in either of those states to get access to that particular bank. But what I wanted to share was their business line of credit. This is up to $250,000. It's their express line business line of credit. Okay, so this one, actually, there's absolutely no docs, no personal financial statements, no business financial statements. And I actually confirmed this in a variety of different ways. So we did have a client who got approved for this, but prior to that, I did speak with one of the senior business managers. So pretty much they're going to be pulling your Experian business score and your personal TransUnion credit score. And essentially you need to have at least a 680 or higher to qualify with absolutely no docs. And this is a true no doc program. Now, the way they determine what your line of credit is, and this is going to be your top line gross revenue, not your net income, right? So this is going to be just the top line number. And so they pretty much will give you 25% of your gross annual sales in the form of a business line of credit. So I'm actually gonna put the email up on the screen where you could actually see, and this is coming directly from one of their business relationship managers who essentially gave me the data points on exactly what they're requiring. So again, it's going to be a hard pull on your personal TransUnion. Now, what I've noticed lately is that a lot of banks are pulling business credit and using that as supplemental information. So your business credit can actually get you a higher limit if you have established business credit. Now, it's not going to be the sole determinant because it is a personal guarantee. So they're really looking at the strength of your personal credit. But if you have good business credit, that's a great data point to supplement because it could actually get you a higher limit. Now, one data point that is coming to a play with a lot of these no doc business lines of credit is going to be your FICO SBSS. So your FICO SBSS is a blended score that looks at your personal Experian FICO and it looks at your business Intellis score. So it's a blended score using various different metrics on personal and business. And we've seen this become a big factor recently. So you definitely want to make sure you have some type of established business credit. Now, if anyone's looking for a business trade line where you can get up to $150,000 trade line that's reporting on your business credit. Now, this trade line reports to Dun & Bradstreet and the SBFE. But as a lot of you guys know, Experian Business and Experian is part of the SBFE. So eventually it makes its way onto the different credit reporting agencies under the business. So if anyone's interested in getting a trade line, I'll drop the link in the description of the video. But going back to Liberty Bank, so again, they're looking at your FICO SBSS, and ideally you want your score to be over a 200. Now, to see what your score is, you could actually get that through NAV. So NAV has a premium subscription. You pay a little bit extra, but if you're about to start going after these business lines of credit, business loans, no doc funding, you want to know what your FICO SBSS is because that's one of the important scores when it comes to business lines of credit. Now, you also have something called an E-Trans score. This is mostly used in SBA, but what I've seen lately is E-Trans, FICO SBSS, that's becoming more prevalent when it comes to the business lines of credit and the no doc business loans and lines of credit. Now, the other thing you can check out, as I mentioned earlier in the video, they have a sister company or a subsidiary bank called Owners Bank. Now, with Owners Bank, you can apply online. Through Liberty Bank, you have to go through one of the reps. And all you have to do is call in and tell them where your location is, and then they'll recommend you to the nearest relationship manager, right? So they basically go based off of where the business is located, which business rep that they're going to reroute you to. So this is something anyone can do. Call the 800 number and speak with one of them. They'll reroute you to the appropriate branch. But again, I have been in contact with a particular business rep there. So if anyone is interested in that, I can share. But I'm telling y'all, Liberty Bank is giving out the bag. 25% of your gross annual revenue. They're going to pull TransUnion on the personal, Experian on the business, and they're looking at your FICO SBSS score. They're not going to ask you for bank statements. They're not going to ask you for tax returns, profit and loss, balance sheet, none of that. This is 100% no docs. But again, it is geographically restricted. Now, going back to Owners Bank, the good thing about Owners Bank is that Owners Bank is actually eligible in a handful of other states. I'll drop a list of the states where you can apply through Owners Bank. So of course it's going to be Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, but then they have a couple other states. I believe Texas, Florida, maybe even Pennsylvania, I think is on the list. So Owners Bank actually has a wider geographic location, but the only caveat is if you apply through Owners Bank online, they will ask you for 3 months of bank statements. That's pretty much it. And you have to be in business for at least 6 months through Owners Bank, right? So they have slightly different criteria. However, in terms of the data points, it's going to be the exact same data points. They're pulling business credit and they're also pulling your personal TransUnion. And you want to be minimum of a 680. Ideally, you want to be higher. And the other thing I wanted to say about no docs, some of the prerequisites is that most no doc programs, you have to have pretty good credit, right? And you want to be at that super prime level. So there's different categories of credit. You have super prime, prime credit, near prime, subprime, and deep subprime, right? You want to be at super prime. And in my opinion, super prime is probably going to be, let's say, over 740, 750, 760, depending on if we're talking FICO or Vantage score. But you want to be at the top end of the 700 range, ideally 800 FICO scores. Now, the reason why a lot of these no-doc business loans, lines of credit will give you an automatic approval just based off of the strength of your personal credit and your business credit is because they know that you already are a strong borrower. So they're not going to need as much supplemental information. But when you start to get into, let's say, the 670s, 660s, or even lower, in most of those cases, banks are going to want to see some other type of mitigating factor, such as collateral, such as your income, and maybe even additional docs. So long story short, in general, when it comes to a lot of these no doc programs, you want to be at prime credit to get it with no docs. Now, if you already have like an 800, 820, 850 credit score, the banks already see you as very credit worthy. So they're not going to need additional income information. But yeah, man, Liberty Bank is giving out that bag. So if you're in Connecticut, Rhode Island, or even Massachusetts, you can apply and you can go through a relationship manager. Just call their number. They'll reroute you to the appropriate business manager. And basically they can just, send you the app, send you the DocuSign, and you can do it all through email. Now, the other option, if you don't fit in those 3 states, you could definitely check out Owners Bank. So Owners Bank, again, is a subsidiary. It's a sister bank of Liberty. Liberty actually owns Owners Bank. You can apply with Owners Bank online for business credit card, business loan, and business line of credit. They're going to use the same data points, Experian Business and TransUnion. The only caveat is that they will ask you to upload the last 3 months of bank statements. So I just wanted to lay that out. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section which states you want me to cover as far as different no-doc business funding plays. That's all for today's video. Until next time, take it easy and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.